And it is day 3. We are in the mixed Pool C today. Canada versus GB, 2 at the top of Pool C. This is Avril Tam alongside Andy Moroney. Andy, what are you looking forward to with this game?
Yeah, really interesting game. Canada, obviously one of the more favoured teams, going 3-0 in their pool. They've got a goal difference of 45-16, so, really dominant, as you can see represented there, being the only team undefeated in Pool C. Great Britain had a win yesterday and then had it pretty easy against Korea, but they are sitting at 1-1, so very important for them to get away strong today.
Yeah, absolutely. I think 1-1, these third wins, it's day 3, really trying to build some momentum, so they'll be looking to play hard and start really strong.
Yeah, I think the interesting thing I noticed about Canada in discussing with them, they really back themselves in from a wind perspective. We've already talked about the wind multiple times throughout the tournament. They think that's one of their strengths. In speaking with their coaches, they noticed right away that Runaway Bay, where we're holding this fantastic event, is quite windy. So I think they're going to be feeling really, really confident. Thanks to the likes of Gagandeep Chhatha. He's a threat on both sides of the disc. You can see already pretty huge stat line, 7 assists, 4 goals, so throwing and catching really well.
Absolutely. He's a big unit, 6'1", plenty of national team experience, so he'll be looking to lead the troops. Also, Team Canada talking about getting out really quickly, making sure that they're really energised, as well as making sure that their warm-up energy attitude is really strong throughout this whole tournament.
And from a GB perspective, D-line handler, Carla Link, 4 assists, playing off the D-line. Again, you take that. That's a really strong start to the tournament, so expect her to be quite an integral part of their defensive offence. So we're almost ready. Both teams on the line. We've got Canada in dark off to the right of screen. They'll be pulling to GB.
Got the 2 game advisors here. We have Uni Jung and Ben Johnston who'll be on the line.
So an interesting day for GB, already having played one game. It was an 11-15 loss to Germany, so that's why their stat line does read 1 apiece.
As the pool goes up, a big one. Arcing down. GB getting things going. Just move it around the backfield to start off with until something opens up. Looking at a match defence, and a big shot goes up. And that's a lovely score there. Jumping nice and high, making sure we're taking the space. That's Cameron Agnew for GB with the score. Getting off to a nice clean hold. Pretty efficient, would you say, Andy?
Yeah, Agnew identified as one of their deep strikes, one of their best players, if not their best player on the team. But also, should be said, really nice put-up win to get GB on the board nice and early. Takes a bit of that pressure and these nerves off. They know they're coming up against one of the tournament favourites, so to get a few passes early on, as well as a nice long shot, reasonably uncontested. Perfect start for Great Britain.
Some great audio from the sideline there. Just perfectly placed. Plenty of heat. Defensive pressure from Justin Podnar. But just good enough to manage to seal the space up high. Pulls it down. Awareness of his feet to jump it in for the score.
Yeah, and I noticed we were covering a GB Open game earlier, and a similar kind of style. GB not afraid to shoot, even if it's from this close side, which is probably the less beneficial side. If you're seeing shots, you probably want to be doing it from the far sideline from our camera position, because it's almost like a diagonal win. But the mixed team, similar to their open team, happy to shoot within that same third, and it paid off for them there.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd say we're probably going to see a bit of a shootout, plenty of height on both these sides. As we get a first look at Canada's O-line. Peter Yu with the disc, marshalling his players as they go wide into the far side. Gagan gets involved early. A lovely inside flick, piercing through. And working really hard in the middle. Now coming to the close side. In the red zone now. Just trying to get the structure sorted. You can hear the ISO play called.
A little bit of contact off the front. Players just having a chat.
Oh, I think there was contact for me. But I still feel I tried to go that way. Yeah. And then, but I don't understand this, that's all. It was because you were going into me. It was like a protect.
Alright, so foul call.
Yeah, sure.
Foul call. Contested. Accepted.
No, accepted. There was still something.
Foul. Accepted. Come in at 1.
Well resolved. I don't mind seeing that early. Of course, ultimate and non-contact sport, but there are degrees of it. So both players just working out what kind of, where's the line in terms of this game.
Yeah, absolutely. And really good use of hand signals as well, indicating the foul, and it was an accepted one. As Canada, nice and easy, again, a clean O point to start the game. They'll be pretty happy to bank that one in.
Yeah, in talking with the Canadian coaches, they said that they really based their game around 3 concepts. The first was winning the warm-up, which I've never done in my life. I don't understand what that means, but it's very, very cool. And then the second was their attitude and their discipline. And so I think in that red zone offense, you saw that discipline, a lot of patience, waiting for the open throw. But I'll have to come back to you on what winning the warm-up looks like.
Well, I think winning the warm-up is going to go a long way in terms of starting strong. You know, they've built some chemistry. Canada have had 3 games now, defeating Korea 15-4, and Germany 15-11, which is the closest game yet, and Panama 15-1. So they'll be looking to get a good challenge from GB here. You see Boychuk on the screen, who scored the goal. Look for him to get a few more stats on the board.
First 2 scores of the game, both upwind. Love to see it.
So far, a bit of a match defence from both sides, but we might see a few junk looks coming soon, I'd suspect.
Yeah, it was interesting. GB actually off their pull reception did throw someone in the lane, as that one's going to go for a brick. So we walked up. Yeah, they did sit one of their female matching players out into the lane. It was only maybe a 3-pass look and then collapsed into some really tight match.
Yeah, I think with GB on offence, another, would you call a slight upwinder?
Yep.
With a little bit of crosswind. Fiona Kwan, one of their really impressive female handlers. And there's a foul called. Captain again. It's like a tight match defence. Lovely little inside flick. Pull downfield.
Off the stack. So running looks like a bit of a 3-4 horror from GB.
Got Helen Thompson here, one of the Thompson twins on this side. Safed up across to Briggs. Comes across to Agnew, who scored the goal earlier.
Nice hit.
Comes across to Kwan. Few options, but everyone's moving at the same time. A little bit congested, but safely secures the pass to Briggs.
Briggs being a bit of the general on the O-line, you can already tell.
Yeah, absolutely. It does well to get it off this fourth side, making sure that there's a few more spaces to attack now.
Collapsed into the vert, but nothing really coming out of the stack.
Yeah, it's pretty stagnant at the moment. It's either nothing or everyone's going at once. So GB will be looking to coordinate the offense a little bit better. Oh, and a lovely inside shot to Kwan. And score, easy as you like. Second goal to Agnew already for the game. coming into this game already with plenty on the stats board, with 2 assists and 2 goals before the start of this game.
Yeah, and Briggs won't get the stat for that, the assist stat, but that inside raking flick break was massive, set up the flow to continue out to the break side. So really positive sign from Great Britain. And I am a fan. As I said before, they have been working in that close third, shooting within the third, but it just looks so much easier when they manage to get a flick break into the middle and that continue follow-on flow around the break side.
Yeah, absolutely. You saw Briggs several times using that flick inside to his advantage, just really long limbs extending through the throw. Definitely more advantageous having that forward momentum and then moving it through instead of going the around.
Thought he'd have to bid for that one for a moment. Did enough to set up, yeah. So GB offense, both offenses looking pretty clean so far. Agnew having a day, 2 points on, 2 goals.
Very efficient.
Must be tough.
You see that again. Juan already knew Agnew was in the space.
100%.
Just throw.
Yep. Ball on serve. This one might just float out the back. It does. So 2 bricks thus far. Bullers needing to adjust for that wind. One going out the side, the other out the back. So 3 yards being given to both teams.
And the Canada O-line, they'll be looking for another clean hold to make sure they keep it nice and tight in this game. It's PDU again picking up the disc. Keeps it low to Guggin. Chutha. A high grab, but Kurahashi makes it look good as they work up the women. Just now on the doorstep. Guggin in the space, but looked off. Might be a pick.
I think there's a pick in the stack, yep. So for me, this is all about GB protecting the front cone, protect the house.
I said 5. I've seen it happen before.
Coming in on 5.
So you're still in 5, yeah? Sweet. Ready? 3, 2, 1.
And Boychuk bringing the disc on 5. Stall count's getting pretty high. Oh, and Chutha goes big on that play, but lands awkwardly. Give him a minute to grab breath.
Yeah, GB peeling off the front of the stack. That was a poach. That wasn't his direct opponent.
There's a high stall situation, just trying to get it off the sideline. Didn't have vision of the defender.
Yeah, Tom Bennett peeling off. I think he did try to avoid contact, but by that point it was too late.
Any calls? Number 10? Yeah? Foul call? Okay.
Yeah,
Foul call. And... Huh? Okay, intercepted, but then... No, but he called a foul, and what's your... Yeah.
No, it's not contested.
Uncontested. Okay, foul call, uncontested. So it's a... Yeah.
Okay.
So stall 1 from your possession.
So an uncontested foul and an injury, but I'm not sure if... I think Bennett's going to go as well.
Yeah, I think they'll...
So a double change. Of course, for those unfamiliar, if there is an injury and one player leaves the field, the opposing team have the opportunity to make 1 substitution also, regardless of whether that player is injured. But I think in Bennett's case, I think he was probably a bit ginger as well because there was collision between the two. So it will be an uncontested foul.
Yeah, coming back in the red zone.
It's either a pick
pick
or a violation. I think it's a pick. I think it might actually be a violation. I'm not sure if anyone around. Yeah.
So fresh legs. Justin Podner coming in. Lovely motion from Kurahashi. Trying to do the dominator movement. And shaking and baking and beating her opponent to the end zone. Kurahashi gets on the board for Canada.
Yeah, probably 5 or 6 cuts in a row there that GB allowed the open under. I was talking earlier prior to the injury about protecting their house, protecting that front cone. Not only as a cutter, but you saw there were a couple of, what did you call it, a dominator cut, where they'll go up the line, but they will still re-engage with the thrower.
Yeah, Kurahashi offered, I think, 3 options there. The initial up-the-line dominator cut, but that was covered. So she did a little 7-cut, potentially an inside flick option. That didn't come off, and then came again just to beat her opponent to the cone. So defender did well to stop the first 2 looks, but the third couldn't quite get there. And so Kurahashi here, looking really fluid on O, generating plenty of movement, both in the backfield and the downfield space.
Yep. Goal and assist. So involved in both of Canada's scores so far. Similar to our man Cami Agnew, racking up the stats early.
That's it, adding to the 2 goals she's already scored in this tournament so far.
So both O-lines having it probably their own way. Gauntlet thrown down to the defensive team for Canada, who are priding themselves on their match. They've said that they do have a few different zone looks, but they believe that their matched defence is one of their strengths. And this pull looks like it'll land in really solid, midway point of the end zone.
Well calibrated there. GB bringing the disc up, and looks like they might have thrown in one of those junkie looks, Andy.
Yeah, perfect. Yep, great timing. Thanks, Andrew. Aggressive zone, 1-3-2-1 by the looks of it.
GB just surveying the options, working through their handler set for now. See Canada pretty relaxed, not jumping into the mark too quickly. Get those next threats, as a good zone should. They keep working it around. Not really making a lot of meters just yet. Now coupled through the cup. Doing a bit of movement, using their legs. Looks like they're still holding the zone about halfway now.
Really like how GB are using the width, going all 3/3.
Yeah, absolutely. Making that front wall really move from side to side. Trying to find those gaps. There's some movement around. And now they get through. Lovely shot to the middle. Looking for support. Looks like they might have collapsed to a match.
Now,
yep. Up line. Got a couple of open players, but the defenders were pretty hot on their tails. Using their female handlers down the back. And that's another score for Agnew. That's 3 of 3. Agnew for GB, racking it up.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah, the timing of his cut's just perfect for the handlers. As soon as they catch a disc is already in space, just an easy pop.
Yeah, but also credit on the dump. That was obviously out to the break side as well. Dump engaged with the thrower really, really well, made a solid plant, which meant they could catch it in motion, continue their momentum over to the break side. Though Agnew grabbed it, there were about 2 or 3 GB players all lining up for it. So GB clustered. I don't know if it's I think it will be the first time out of the game.
Yeah, that's right. So all clean holds at the moment, no turnovers, no break opportunities. So we'll see defensively who might be able to turn the heat up. As you mentioned, Andy, GB using the width of the field really well.
Yeah, some nice breaks, good movement from poppers as well as the handlers. You can see so many players in motion, and that forces the fence, the defenders, always to be having an eye kind of behind them as well as in front of them.
Right, good zone assessing the next threat, but when the disc moves so quickly, it's really difficult to actually catch up to the play.
And this was the dump I was talking about. Really solid engagement, deliberate movements, de-risks any miscommunications. Agnew and Hatch having a chat. Cameron Agnew with all 3 scores for Great Britain so far.
And another decent pull that lands in the end zone. Peter Yu marshalling this Canadian offense again. Oh, and then we have the first D of the game. GB getting a very valuable short field opportunity.
Yeah, real chance here.
This comes in, a high release backhand, just floats beautifully into Alice Beeching's hands there. Lovely goal, and that's the first break for GB, really ramping it up today.
Very clearly, as The test match, the cricket isn't here for another couple of months down here in Australia. The Ashes hasn't started yet. Maybe it has for GB. Clearly a set play. GB, as you said, getting a really good position on the field. Vertical stack and a premeditated cut out to the break side for the high release backhand. I think it was a lefty high release backhand too, actually. So.
Yeah, it floated just beautifully into the lap. No way the defender could get anywhere near it.
And this will be our first time out of the game.
Plenty of pressure on both the mark and the dump. Really force that low throw. And then this lovely high release backhand.
Righty backhand.
And things are starting to heat up with the first break of the game. With GB getting up 4-2. With the heat rules, we're just going to go to a quick break. We'll be back after. See you soon. And we are back at the World Ultimate Championships in the mixed Pool C, Canada versus Great Britain. We've just had a heat timeout with GB getting the first break of the game after several clean holds. This broadcast is brought to you by Ultiworld. Today's game is on YouTube, available to everyone. We also have plenty more action from several fields across the tournament. So please subscribe to Ultiworld, get access, get big. There's still plenty more days coming. We've got pool play, power pools, and plenty of quarters, semis, and finals over the next week. So GB will be pulling, starting on defence. This time the upwind pull, so we'll see what distance we can get on those ones.
Yeah, it does change things up a bit now. This is the first time that we're going to see GB, their defensive unit from this end. Hopefully a little bit of pressure released for Canada, but they're certainly going to need to get at least one break back to win this game. So see them again in that 4-3 setup. A lot of movement early.
Yeah, and attacking the centre, Kurohashi already with a couple of stats on the board, still working really hard for a team despite the heat. And again, just attacking the centre. Canada set plays here, working really well. As we see Kurohashi pop up again. On the doorstep, Nat Boychuk looking for an isolated player. Doesn't quite work out, and Kurohashi again, but looks like there might be a call on that play.
Let's see if we can listen in.
I feel like I kind of went through your arm, but I feel like if your arm is out, like that's not necessarily like my responsibility to avoid hitting your arm. Like if I ran into your body, I feel like I would understand more, but I feel like if your arm is outstretched, then like I still have
of your body, so I feel like it's still you still fouled me on that side.
Good.
Yeah, of course.
My vision was blocked. And so I did not see the contact, but it's been about 45 seconds, so if you can come to him. Yeah. Thank you.
So
you were here, stall count, coming in a sec. Okay.
The outcome of that foul call was a contested foul, so it goes back to the thrower. Terahashi still trying, shaking and baking and successfully getting free again. That is her second goal of this game to go with her 3 assists, working really, really hard on that O point, getting shots all the way up.
Yeah, clearly a threat, clearly a focus point for their offence. And no surprise. But I think what also helped the Canadians there, I think there was a defensive breakdown from GB. Sometimes when you see free players, it's because they're playing a bit of a zone or a poach. I don't think that was the case. You saw right out here early on, already at the halfway point, no real player going towards. There was a switch in the stack, but again, the swing was still able to move into the middle, and only now, essentially at the brick mark, with GB able to apply any kind of pressure. So a nice little pressure valve release for the Canadians. Easy hold, easy score, and probably just an adjustment from GB to make sure that they know what their defensive assignments are.
Yeah, absolutely. It's always a little tricky with mixed as well, you know, wanting to make sure you get the priority and then potentially trying to switch your gender matchups as well. So potentially, like you said, a bit of breakdown in communication on that deep point.
So Canada staying in touch, but GB, one break to the positive.
Yeah, this will be our first look at GB going downwind. So it'll be interesting to see how well the O-line goes. Pretty clean so far. Can they do it again? As we move the disc up to the break mark. Bert Stack, 2 back, standard. Just looking at the active cutters. Everyone else making sure to clear space. And we've got a long shot coming up. Looked off.
That could have easily gone. Agnew had a paddock.
Yeah, wouldn't surprise to see him score this one.
Got a call? Pick call?
Has been a little picky this game, Andy.
Yeah, wouldn't mind seeing both offences clean up a bit, but I think this is going to be interesting for GB. Only one player downfield. Everyone else is either in line with the disc or behind, so they've got to clear out, make life easy for their thrower.
Yeah, I think they've been very disciplined in terms of making sure they choose one person to engage, and they're really working hard. See that defense just a little loose from Canada, and a big comes from Canada, but GB secure the disc. That's number 26, Alice Hanton, making sure she gets the mitts around that one.
Yeah, nice bid from Collie Mott as well. Wouldn't mind seeing a little bit more of that. Build some of that defensive pressure. But it's tight, both offences. I mean, as we said, one break in the game. Off one turn, 0 turns for GB, so their offense very impressive early on. I think they'd be thrilled with the way that they've started this, especially having dropped the game earlier today.
Absolutely, and these two teams, now we're getting towards the end of the pool plays. We've got kind of the top 2 teams in their pool matching up. Canada are seeded 3 in the mixed division for this tournament, and GB seeded 8. Haven't seen Chatha appear back on the field just yet. Maybe having a breather after that knock earlier.
Yeah, we'll see if we can get word from the Canadian coaching staff or sideline. Such an important cog in both their throwing the goals and catching them. Handy with both sides of it.
Yeah, Canada O-line perhaps having to adjust a little bit without him on the field. Almost copped right in the face.
It's awkward.
Oh, what a big shot. Nope. Kurohashi again, really working that under. Canada, Stack's very far away, but they're generating movement off the front of Stack. And now a lovely inside backhand. Staying on that high side. Gauges a dump. Defense have done really well, but manages to save the day through Boychuk.
GB's pressure on the mark has ratcheted up here, getting some high counts.
Absolutely. Kurohashi again working hard, cutting under. Several undercuts looked off. And now score count's got to be rising high, and looks like a foul there. A lot of pivoting going on. Fair bit of body contact.
I think Podnar's drawn one there. I reckon he heard an 8 and went, all right, I'm going to pivot around. Let's see if we can listen in between Podnar and Bennett.
Boom.
Okay.
Hit you for contact. Yeah, I can't say.
He did have, Mark did have a legal position. And
What was that, sorry?
I still think that's a contact. So, do you still... Okay. Do you want to go perspective? Yeah, okay, so...
I'm sorry, I didn't have any perspective, but do you have any teammates you might have?
I was only outspoken. What do you guys do?
All right.
Look at Alan.
Foul, uncontested, coming in on 1.
So uncontested in the end. Thought Podnar probably drew that one in a high count, bit of a veteran move. But we're back live.
Oh, and that's a high disc. Massive block, GB. As you said, defensive intensity, but a layout. And everyone's going for a shot up, and GB somehow managed to maintain possession of the disc. And pretty frantic now. You can hear the energy. You can hear the voices lifting from the sideline. Oh!
And another one, another peel off the front. Podnar again involved in everything at the moment. We're going to have another chat.
I felt both go over the space, right? And I was just moving, and I made a dive for the catch, and you ran into my arm to hit you. Like I was like just like literally like this. I'm here, and I went for the block, and you ran into my arm, meaning you're infected. So it's incidental contact. Okay. Replay on screen. Replay. Yeah, I don't. That's it.
So I can get another replay?
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Retracted. Thank you. Third.
And that is a retracted foul call. So it's a turnover. Having the massive Jumbotron video board there, having a good look at that replay. And so we have Canada. Big shot goes up to tall timber.
Podnar again.
That's plucked down. Canada still trying to get into position. And a lovely shot on the open side. That is Anna Godu with the goal. So a bit of a scare there for the Canadian offense, but managing to get the disc back. Making sure not to let GB pull ahead too far.
There was a bit doing in that point. A little bit to unpack between the kind of high stall count foul, then immediately followed by an amazing layout point block that was then recovered by the player that got blocked. Then a shot and a layout off the poach. So this one was the turn.
As you can see, a layout here, just getting his mitts on, deflecting the disc, but GB good enough.
That was Harry Ogden, who real heads-up play, even though he was the player that threw it. If another player touches it, it's fair game again. So real heads-up play, and then a lovely put, nice take. Podnar in everything that point through the goal, got the block. But as you say, Canada only probably 3 metres away from going 2 breaks down. So a little bit of lament probably if you're GB, but Canada able to respond. Real heads-up play with Podnar peeling off his original opponent, getting the poach D. Good spirit from GB, retracting the call, having a look on the, as you say, on the big screen.
Yeah. Absolutely. With Podnar replacing one of their injured players, Canada had 3 go down during this campaign. One of the real shining lights standing up and supporting this team.
Canada playing another junk look here.
One looking to use their female handlers in the backfield. Thompson goes for a scuba, I think it was.
Here we go. Oh.
Had a couple of open plays. Oh, makes his play work, but unfortunately just a little too far out in front in that downward direction. The disc just pushes away.
Agnew was sniffing his 4th goal of the game. He was the other wing out wide. I understand why the throw didn't go. It was probably the safer option of the 2 on paper. But unfortunately a turn.
That's the first time GB offense have actually turned the disc over.
Correct.
So prime opportunity here for Canada, having to work it all the way from their end zone and upwind to boot. It looks like a horizontal set to start with, but changing it, a big shot goes up. It's got a couple of receivers in the area and defenders too, but read better by 41 Keith McRae. And Canada, they get the break back through to Madison Ong, scoring the goal with the assist from Keith McRae. They'll sure be glad about that, pegging it back to 5-all.
Yeah, nice read from McRae. Needed to kind of stop and prop, take the read. Probably 3 other players. There were 2 pairings there. 3 other players also with a bid on it, but he read it best. And GB, their first blemish, their first turnover and first break.
Yeah, pretty efficient for Canada so far, 1 from 1. Converting their break opportunity.
And the Canadian coaching staff will be thrilled with that. In discussing with them earlier on, they did remark that they were really happy with the amount of blocks they were generating, but wanted to get better at converting. And that's what the best teams want to do. It's not just about getting the blocks. Unless you convert, you're most likely not going to win the game. So they'll be really thrilled that they were able to put their first the first opportunity they got, they popped it in.
Absolutely. And, you know, Canada in North America, Great Britain in the European region, they're not teams that play often against each other. I know Canada said that they expanded their horizons. They played TEP, a lot of the South American, Central American, North American teams in that tournament as preparation. They came second in that tournament, and US Open as well, with some really high caliber there.
So it's back on GB to respond now. Each team giving away 1 break in the half.
Let's go, Dart.
And a nice pull goes up.
Good pull.
Hitting them to the end zone. It's like a tight match defense. Loquan gets free on the under. Moves it back across. Briggs takes his time. Safely across to Taylor. Briggs really trying to settle things down. Agnew, an undercut this time. Fun. Had the space, but doesn't like the look, so goes back across to Briggs. And again, really using the width of the field well, GB. Making sure to keep the defense moving, keep them on their toes. Oh, now's the high shot. Who's going to read it better? Agnew comes down with it. Briggs now in the red zone. Oh, really? He's asking a lot of his teammate, asking a bit too much, perhaps, of Ellie Taylor. She gets on the ground, but the grass beats her.
Yeah, that's a shame, because I think the rest of that point, GB really patient, taking good options. Briggs is going to need a nice big ice bath after this. He had to work to get every dump there.
Yeah, now that this is the second break opportunity in a row for Canada, although timeout called to get things settled. Just working out what stall count will be coming in on after this.
I don't mind that timeout. Canada, they checked it in. They did have a nice formation in a vert stack, but it didn't look like the stack had communicated it who was coming out first. So given it's such a critical point in the game, Canada going downwind with a chance to put their second break in a row, if you don't see what you like at the start, you know what, burn one, have a chat about it, get a chance to have a drink, see if they can put their second break in and push all of the pressure back onto Great Britain.
Yeah, it's certainly a warm day, so some of the players will be wanting to get a little bit of break in their legs.
So Canada, as we've said, as the 3 seed, one of the top performing countries in the world across all 3 divisions, but also in the mixed division, as we see in 2016 took out the bronze, 2012 and 2008 had the ultimate glory in taking out the gold, and then again in the silver. So a little bit of everything in the trophy cabinet, but as you can see, some pretty familiar names: Australia, Japan, USA, Canada, probably the 3 consistent countries there at the pointy end of the mixed division.
Yeah, absolutely. And with a long time between drinks, it's been 8 years since the last edition of this World Championship. So I'm sure players are looking to add a little bit more silverware to their cabinets.
The players returning from the timeout. See if we can clarify what the score was on, because I reckon it will be coming in on maybe 3 or 4.
And a big shot goes up, a big lefty flick, intended receiver. Bang. Wow, what a grab by Collymore. Canada just getting in position now in this red zone. GB defense really tight on their matches. Canada still with possession on the doorstep, and that's the second break in a row to Canada, really asking the questions of GB, getting it done. 2 in a row, upwind, downwind, whatever wind.
They are up and about, the Canadians. Coley Mott, fantastic cut, nice grab. And again, I think the defensive adjustment I'd make if they're GB, I understand it was their offensive unit out there, but Canada are going to continue to run front of stack, inside break. We saw it again. Yes, it was in motion, but you either need to have your front of stack play real flat and have to try and take away both the break and the open, or on the mark, shade the inside flick. Don't give that inside away, make them throw around. Nice high grab.
Plenty of airtime on that by Coley Mott. See them using that front of stack, as you mentioned, Andy. Setting the stack, you know, in giving that front of stack enough distance to get free of their defender. So positioning really well, timing those cuts, being really disciplined in terms of only focusing on the player who's engaged downfield. Yeah, the front of stack's doing well, but yeah, as you say, I think you also need to look at the rest of the stack, because they need to be disciplined to move their players deep to make sure it is just a one-on-one. And as a timeout is called, unsurprisingly, after 2 breaks, GB will be looking to reset to try and recapture some of the form that they had at the beginning of this game.
Yeah, I think GB will be frustrated. They probably let a little bit of their momentum slip. Had that first break, a couple of metres away from having their second break. Now instead had the momentum reversed. That's Chartha we see on the sideline. He's on the physio tent. Oh, sorry, on the physio bed, but he is smiling. So all the best to him. I think also if you're Canada at the moment, you do have the momentum. You don't necessarily need to risk bringing him back out if he is a bit proppy.
Yeah, you certainly want him around for the point end of the tournament. As Canada, big upwind pull, plenty of hang time. Thompson just sits under it. Bit of a junky look here by Canada. Looks like the Cups really trying to force them to this side. Forcing them back to the middle now. Fiona Kwan trying to get her offense going. Not too many metres so far. Oh, and there goes a layout bid. Unsuccessful by Canada. Thompson and Kwan working together. Now Andrew Dick joins the fold. And the zone doing quite well to stifle any momentum or continuation.
Good width.
The move through Dick and Kwan. Oh, lovely shot through the cup to Agnew. Back to Dick. Centres to Kwan. Behind to Thompson. And now they collapse to match. And that's a close sniff, but Agnew attacks it really well in front of his defender. Agnew, an inside flick, falling away. And some pistol celebrations there. He gets an assist to add to his stat board. GB, nice, clean hold. They'll be pretty pleased with that after that timeout.
Yeah, good restraint from GB. They needed to stop the run. But I'd say early on, that was a fantastic pull and also a fantastic rundown. We're at Worlds, we're going to see, really impressive athletic plays, but some of it is just basics around effort. And we saw this, great pull, but look at the intensity of the rundown of the three up front, stopping the first pass. You'll hear great teams talking about stopping the first pass, and that's what they did. And it was only through, I think it was Helen Thompson going upstairs. I think she threw 2 or 3 scooters in that point.
Yeah, looks like might be a favourite for her. Certainly had a fair bit of success.
That first inside break from Thompson really helped push them into that red zone. And then Agnew going, I'll have some of that myself, thank you. Inside break. And a goal. And then some hand pistols. And one thing, talking, I guess, of the little things, something that they ran through that point when Canada was still playing the junk, is a popper was sent through, someone in the wall went with them, but that created space behind. And sometimes it's that thankless task as being a popper or being a wing deep. You can move the defence around, which opens up an offensive look for your teammate.
Yeah, absolutely. As we go have a standard vert stack here. Canada on offence, trying to get things moving. Isolated player.
Nice hit.
Just resetting. Really far away, the stack, but again, using that front of stack position, Boychuk just getting a nice up line. And now looking to swing across, get the disc on the high side, which is a good idea given the slight of field. And beautiful Boychuk getting it done for Canada. This time Mika Kurahashi with the assist. Canada continuing to work hard, continuing to bring the energy. Maybe winning the warm-up did help.
Well, they're showing why they're 3-0 and 7-6 up in this game. Boychuk electing to get every second pass, being really active around the disc, sending it up the line, coming back for resets. You can see every throw is then followed up by a secondary cut. He's looking as that release goes. There's no travel. He's planted when he throws, but then straight away he's off. Really hard to defend that kind of cutting activity around the disc. And if the names on the jerseys weren't a dead giveaway that it's Great Britain, the fact that they're just lugging around an ice cart in Australia, they're not necessarily built for this, Av, right? It is, coming up towards 30, which I think, from memory, is about the mid-80s in the Fahrenheit. It's going to be warm, so people seek, all the players and other fans, spectators seeking shade. GB not able to, so portable ice box is the next best thing.
Absolutely. I think heat management is going to be key, especially these afternoon games. The sun is really penetrating here on the Gold Coast. Feels really like summer, even though it's only spring. Very different from the English summertime. The GB team also very well equipped. Andy Dick, who we've seen doing a A good job here on field. Has brought his dad, who's brought his bagpipes down.
Yes, heard them early on in the warm-up. I don't think it's the last time we'll hear it either. It's a bit of Sky Bonnie Boat. You heard Sky Bonnie Boat? Did you ever play recorder at school? You know how they made you play like the recorder? They make you play an instrument. That's the first song they made you learn.
Have to get you up tomorrow.
Absolutely no chance. But I'll see if I can chat to Andy's dad and put in a request. It's either Sky Bonnie Boat or AC/DC. AC/DC had a bagpipes phase. I was talking to Ian on an earlier game about Oasis. So I think between Oasis and AC/DC, there's a nice little kind of 80s, 90s rock thing coming out here. So we see Canada with the pull.
Yeah, Canada looking to rock the boat. We have GB coming out on offense. Like a split stack. Got some deep receivers going. But looked off and now coming under.
Agnew's gone.
Yeah, but the timing. Oh, and we have a big D from Colleen Mott just running through. She's ready for the next disc, gesturing, but not picked up early enough.
Collie's going to get another one.
Cole, she's hungry.
100%.
She's really coming to the party here. Oh, and it's a high one, bit bladey. Oh, hospital pass, but Canada come down with the disc. Might be a call. Ginger to get up here.
I don't think there'll be too much discussion yet. I think you called it right, Av. It was a bit of a hospital pass. No intentional contact, but well within his rights to call an injury or a foul and take a breather, compose himself. So Peter Yu will keep it. I imagine it'll be a 0 count regardless. And Canada a brick mark away from putting in another break.
Can they make it 3 from 3 break opportunities? Goes up line, goes up big, but just bounces off the hands. Thinks about it, but decides not to call. That's Podner, your man there, getting up high.
Why is he my man?
Giving him plenty of love earlier.
Oh, if you get move into me and get contact on me on a stall night, I'd go absolutely chop over. But anyway, he's playing a very good game. That's the important thing. So another vert look, 3-4.
So GB looking to convert this offensive point. Can't really afford to give Canada another opportunity. And goes a big arcing around backhand. Podner getting the job done.
Yeah, I don't mind that
Briggs.
cut from Briggs. Briggs obviously been their offensive handler focus. Always love to see a handler go deep, be a threat on both ends.
So GB giving Canada plenty of opportunities as we're approaching half.
Good D from Podner.
Peter Yu with the disc. Nice midfield shot. Oh, and a lovely shot from Mo. Just a lovely around, and because you like. Lovely conversion, moving from one corner to the other corner of the field. Mott just throwing that beautiful outside-in shot to the break side, leading her player, Podner, into space. That is 3 from 3 conversions. Canada will be really pleased. And they take half 8-6.
Yeah, that was a fantastic point from Mott. That intensity got the D, but was also really active in generating on the defensive O. Nice big put, little bit of blade on it, but read really well by my man, as you call him.
By Podner. And we have Megan Gillis, number 7, who scored the goal. So they'll be pleased with that half. As you can see, we were talking about break chances. Canada having 4 opportunities and converting 3 of those, so certainly very efficient, making all the difference. Canada certainly with the momentum at the end of the first half. Great Britain seeing if they can really bring it back. We know that they've made a couple of opportunities. Let's see if they can get a couple more of them and convert.
yeah, I think we saw almost a tale of two halves within that first half. Saw even holds from both teams, but then Canada start to exact a little bit more defensive pressure, and that's where Great Britain kind of started to go back into their shells a bit.
And we have the coach of Canada, Peter Galbraith. Peter, how are you seeing the first half?
Well, it was a bit of a tough start, going down that break, but then we really battled back. I'm not mic'd.
You are, Mike.
Oh, sorry.
Thank you very much. We've got you loud and clear, mate. So.
Oh, perfect. Good to hear that. Yeah, we started off a little tough, and then, we've been talking about taking punches and swinging back, so I've been really happy with the response. We brought in, strengthened our lines a bit, and that was a great response. But, kudos to GB. They've been playing really well, and we were thinking we might have an easier go given how the Germany-GB game went, and they've been coming out swinging, so, many props to them.
Yeah, as you mentioned, a bit of a challenging start. I think both teams really holding their offensive structures nicely. But then you started putting the foot down, put multiple breaks in. Was there any kind of message during either the heat timeout or just to the defensive unit as to what you're going to change to generate some more defense, some more turns?
Yeah, we've been talking about trusting each other and trusting our teammates, and we knew that pressure is a big thing, and so we really emphasize bringing pressure and sustained pressure is what creates turns. Sometimes it doesn't pay off on that point, but doing it over the long run is what we got, where we got our turns. There was a couple throwaways, but we've earned some back. So just sustained pressure was the big message in the heat timeout and then other timeouts that we've had.
Nice. And as we're about to let you go, any word on Gagandeep? Is he okay? We saw him on the physio bench, but with a smile on his face. Is he all right?
Yeah, I haven't had a good chance to check in with him yet. He seems happy, and we'll see where the tournament takes us with him.
Thanks. All the best for the second half.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Take care.
As we see a couple of highlights to take us out, half-time, Canada, Mott bringing it hot, really getting a couple of breaks on the board. Can Great Britain cool them off? And we're back at the World Ultimate Championships in the mixed division with Canada taking half against Great Britain. Canada, a couple of key players in Mott and Kurahashi really getting plenty of the disc.
And we're going to be joined by the GB coach, Mr. Kovler. How are you going? You would have loved the start to that game, putting that early break in. The second stanza a little more challenging.
Yeah, like you say, the first half of that first half we were playing really well. I think we were getting some good defensive pressure, forcing them into areas they didn't want to be, kind of stopping their pull plays and taking advantage of it once they were out of it. But they're a very good team, full of very good players, and once they kind of figured some stuff out, they put a lot of pressure on us. I think they took the second half of that. Obviously, they've taken the break to go into half, but I feel good about our ability to come back in the second half.
Yeah, absolutely. And what kind of adjustments are you looking for from your players?
Offensively, I think a lot of it is we're making some errors that are not necessarily forced. I think we're just rushing things a little bit, kind of playing to the tempo that they're trying to set us, so it's just playing at our own tempo on offense. And then defensively, I think we're doing good things. We just need to try and refine a couple of things, take away some of their plays they're trying to run, some of the looks off the sideline particularly. But defensively, very happy with how we look, and I think we're going to get more opportunities.
You must be pleased with Cameron Agnew, 3 goals and an assist. You're going to see more out of him in the second half. We'll mix things up with your offensive looks.
I think we're going to see plenty out Cammy. He's also done all the admin, so he's a very key part of the team. He just thinks, I don't have to. So he's playing great. I'm really happy with how he's playing, how the whole O-line are playing. When we get running, I think when we're running, when we have the disc moving, we're a very tough team to cover. I mean, Canada is seeing that. We just want to make sure we get back to that as quickly as we can.
Absolutely. Thank you very much for your time. We'll let you get back into the game.
Thanks, both.
And we have Sean Colfer there from GB, the sole coach of this team, but he has mentioned that he's got plenty of support in his leaders, talking about Agnew, Kwan, Briggs. Really nice core group there. They'll be looking to make a big charge. Attempting to qualify for the World Games coming up next year in Chengdu, China. Sure, GB will be looking to qualify and set a strong contingent.
Man of many talents himself, Sean Colfer, the Euro editor for Ulti World, so getting it done on the pitch as well as off it. And I like the optimism, Avril, from Sean. I mean, whilst, you know, we did see things kind of come apart for GB early. The fact that they got that early break in, a lot of positivity, means it is only 8-6. That's not insurmountable by any stretch.
No, absolutely. They're keeping in touch with Canada. Certainly second half refresh, reset, get cool, get going. As we see Canada O-line with a horizontal setup. Oh, it's a collision. A couple of bodies down, a couple of moments to get a breath.
Yeah, I don't think we'll see a foul call. I think that was more almost like a thrower error. Both players bidding to try and make a play on the disc. This could already gone past, but we'll listen in.
That's a good move on that. Yeah.
I think it is just going to be an injury, so medical team.
Collie. Oh, sorry, never mind.
Yeah, no foul call, just checking in on the well-being of the player. The injury sub's been taken. GB with a chance to put in a break.
Yeah, so Colfer really asking his troops. They are certainly answering the call. Got a big shot, but thinks better of it. But the dump is really getting forced behind. And there's a peak in the stack.
I think there'll be
several stall counts earlier.
I think we're almost, there might be a discussion about a stall count as well. It's definitely high. Yeah, we're discussing a stall.
No, I was too far to hear the stall. So you're calling stall and you're going to tell and okay. So no other calls other than you release it before the T of 10. Okay. Okay.
So do you mind asking your side? I watched you wind up on 10. That's all. That's all I'm saying.
Any prospect sideline?
I saw.
Okay, but from the other team, huh? Okay, so no perspective other than his teammates. So, yeah. So, it's your call.
I trust you. I don't think I split up, and I did watch you wind up. Okay. If it was on the release, I totally believe you. It's just I watched you wind up, and that's why it's a little frustrating for me. That's all.
Understand. It has been 45 seconds. I think both sides have said your piece, so it's up to you. Okay. Okay. Stall out. Accepted. It's a turn over here.
So it will be a turn. I do think it's fascinating when you go to the sidelines, the Canadian players clearly heard it, and the people right next to them wearing GB jerseys, oh, I didn't hear anything. That was probably a bit telling, but the important thing is spirit of the game's prevailed, accepted by the GB team.
Yeah, so Canada getting another shot on this O point. You can see both teams bringing the defensive intensity, both having opportunities in the same point. Plenty of fakes to get the mark moving. Across to PDU. Familiar face in the backfield.
Good mark.
Plenty of pressure. You can see GB amping it up. Finally gets an around shot. Fakes big and just scraps it up off the floor. Kurahashi again getting involved. GB, the intensity really working well to slow things down for Canada, but a speculating shot goes up, and the much shorter Lauren Ballantyne takes that despite the heat of two GB defenders.
Huge grab. The whole team getting around Lauren Ballantyne, and rightly so. Took it nice, took it high, took it under pressure. The give-go from the dump. Great intent, great courage, great execution.
Team Canada certainly working through their female matching players. Talking to the coach before the game, he did say that he felt this was a strength that the team had that maybe could set them apart from the others. So you can see Kurahashi, Ballantyne getting plenty of the disc on that point.
Really loved that, Marks, shutting down 2 or 3 options. Again, it got to a high count. The break did go out, but even then, not entirely convincing. But the highlight of the point, it must be said. The give goes straight from the handler position. GB peel off the back of the stack. But Ballantyne, full stretch. It's her second stat. That's her goal to go alongside her assist. Well done from all players to avoid contact, but take nothing away from Ballantyne. That was a really special grab, and her teammates let her know about it.
As a big pull, a high one goes up. Canada really working hard off the pull chase. You can hear the energy, the volume, atmosphere really ramping up on the sideline here.
Yeah, they're vibing it big time.
Coming across. Again, both defenses doing really well to slow down, shutting down the first, second, third looks.
Good release.
Oh, lovely outside in there. Getting it across to Dick. Oh, now they get some meters gained. Through Pope. Oh, lovely inside backhand there. Plenty of control. And a big shot goes up. And who's got it? Agnew.
His 4th goal of the game.
If GB are looking to try and recapture some of that early momentum in the game, they'll certainly be looking for Agnew to try and get a few more on the board in the early part of this second half. So GB just staying in touching distance. Defensive pressure is looking pretty good for both sides. Really testing the offense, throwing skills at the players.
They haven't brought the wickets back out since the scores to play some cricket in between. Maybe they only do it when they're up. Probably a fair call. As we see some GB fans in the stands. Still haven't located my mate with the bagpipes, but I'll track him down.
Yeah, certainly using the shade there, making sure we slip, slop, slap. Stay sun safe. Looking forward to later in the week, Andy, when it's expected to cool down.
Yeah, me too. A cool change is coming. Much to the delight of every single Great Britain player here across the divisions. Great pull. This will be back of the end zone stuff.
Absolutely huge and a big float. Starting from the back of the end zone. GB now matching up. And make sure to get it through. Canada now working the underspace really well.
Yeah, great flow.
Now we're coming across, engaging, just waiting for something to become 100%. Just, like you said, Andy, just the basics, making sure we engage, we're faking off. Oh, and this one's a little high. Couple of people underneath it. Number 4, Ian Wallace, got a hand to it, but just popped out in the last second.
Yeah, I liked how he used his body. He knew that it was going to be a floater. He did box out, but couldn't complete the catch.
So as we have GB, an opportunity, gets big for the layout save. GB really wanting to treasure this disc now. These opportunities haven't come too often.
The stack's quite deep, so there's nothing really able to go long because Canada have sat a deep out the back to protect anything long.
Yep, certainly trying to get just on the high side and another scuba here. Thompson not the only one. And there's a stoppage in play. Waiting to work out what the call was.
I'm not entirely convinced there was one.
Yeah, no call. Not too sure why the player stopped.
Harry Ogden, as soon as he got it, he thought he had heard something, so it's going to come in stalling too.
As we've got a pretty standard vert stack with GB, but very deep, just not quite adjusting as the disc moves. And we have heat coming. Oh, and the second bid. Beeching keeps it up. Oh, she goes big, looking for Tessa Yalink, but couldn't quite connect on that one.
Yeah, got lucky on the first save, not so much on the second one.
As that comes off the hands of the defender, good enough to keep vision of the disc, but just a little overthrow and couldn't quite get the scraps at the back.
Canada have run it up here.
So Peter Yu working things through again, trying to ignite the Team Canada. Again, the stack really set so far back, making those long options really difficult when the stack's already in that deep space. Yeah, unable to get that separation. Speculative shot, but manages to secure the catch. Ellen Al-Yeung. Kurahashi still working really hard.
Interesting. I don't know what GB are doing with their force. They are switching it up. They're forcing away now, forcing to the backhand. But I think they did change it midway through the point, which is enabling Canada just to have a lot of flow.
Yeah, perhaps a forced middle look.
It is a middle, yeah, you're right.
And still GB doing well to slow things down. Really stopping that flow and the continuation from Canada. And a nice inside backhand. Height. Oh, another lofty shot.
Yeah, so
the stoppage.
Yeah, a little bit of confusion because there was a foul that was then immediately withdrawn because Canada maintained possession.
As we get things underway again, Boychuk and you being really solid in this backspace. Al-Yeung getting involved under. Boychuk again looking for that front of stack. Oh, and that's another high shot, but Peter Yu makes sure he pulls it down, seals out the defender. Canada now pulling away 10-7.
Yeah, I understand why they've probably changed up the defensive strategy, going with what looked like either a return or a forced middle. But it does ask a lot of you downfield to continue to orbit, to kind of check in. It requires a high amount of communication between the stack and the downfield, between the throw and the downfield. And sometimes it does mean even if there's a throw with a little bit of float on it like that one, there's still enough time and enough separation to take an uncontested grab.
Yeah, Peter Yu there, sucking in the breaths, doing a lot for Team Canada. making sure that they try and race to the finish line in the latter stages of this game. I mean, GB, they generated the opportunities. They had 2 turns there, but just couldn't convert.
Yep.
As you said, Andy, that's probably the difference at the moment. When you get to this level, opportunities do not come by often. When they do, you've got to make sure of it. Here, the very vocal sidelines from both sides. GB, they'll be wanting to secure this one and hoping for a clean one. Try to put the pressure back on Canada. Another slightly junky look to get started, but looks like they're collapsing to match. Agnew now in the backfield, working nicely with Kat Pope. Perhaps just switching up some of their targets. Oh, and a low shot, a little bit too low for Fiona Kwan.
Yeah, that's a worm burner, that one.
Canada here with an opportunity to extend their lead. Had a pretty good rate of converting, so looking for another here.
Deep shot might go. Yep.
Both teams really holstering those deep options at the moment. Looking
Yeah, you're
for the
right.
safe.
Has been very restrained, yep.
As you say, do the basics right, get the job done. And again, using that front of stack player, allowing them the space to just get free of their defender. Score count rising. It just falls into the lap of Vasilev. Nice space to get the mark moving. Goes up to Winji. Vasilev. Oh, another scuba. Oh, and unfortunately there's a turn there. So Vasiliev couldn't quite connect with Keith McRae. A couple of scubas trying to put a few tricks.
It looked like he was feeding the ducks, Vasiliev, at one point with that open stance backhand kind of fake. Didn't mind it.
So GB, Lady outside in to Kwan. Ooh, foul call.
Uncontested from Vasiliev. I don't think he could have got that D without initiating contact, so uncontested foul.
Yeah, so the disc will stay with GB. Fun to bring it in.
And I like this zone look, Avril.
Yeah, it's had success already in this point. They're really making sure their heads are on the swivel. We can see as now GB cutting through the cup. Oh, and another arcing blade. One in that space. Nice continuation up. Match defense, gets on the ground. Hanton looking. Oh, spreading the field, but that just came out of the hands. Just not enough wrist to really get the spin on the disc, and that just falls to the ground. Devastating for GB.
Yeah, Hodgett completely open, had the easy break throw.
And the defense pressure of Canada providing another break opportunity. Again, long option. Now, this time he takes it just over the fingertips. And Canada convert yet another break, pulling away this game 11-7.
Yeah, half a sniff given towards the defenders for GB there, but everything going right for Canada. Can't really put a foot wrong.
No, certainly momentum with the North Americans. You can see their intensity ramping up. That zone working really well just to slow things down. Really making GB swing side to side. As we see Vasiliev there getting involved in that D-line offense. So with the heat warning and the rules applied at the moment, the first team who reaches 12, there will be a break. So Canada, I'm sure, will be looking to try and get to that scoreline as soon as possible. See, we've got Collie Moe getting ready for the pull.
That's some kind of game so far, Callie. Probably one of the best on for Canada. Canada not being complacent. A lot of communication between players, coaching staff. Just said after this, they've got power pools ahead, so the job not done by any stretch. Every point valuable in terms of building those structures and connections.
So Kwan on the far side this time with the disc. Thompson using their female brigade. Lovely work to maintain possession. Downfield players give them space to work with. Canada doing well to slow things down. This time with match offense, and a block goes short field. They'll slowly walk it up. You can see hand signals just telling everyone to get set up for the plays.
How do you reckon the front of stack's going to go here? Inside break? Oh, well, at least shut off from the dump that time, from the mark.
Ooh, it did come from the front of stack, but it was a second option. And enough defensive pressure there from Thompson just to force it too wide for Joe. Oh, and that downwind just a little bit too spicy for the intended receiver in Ellie Taylor.
I think fatigue starting to become a factor as well, Av.
Yeah, and a long shot goes up. Canada just wanting to get it done, and they do through Boucher. Canada get to 12, and I'm sure it's sizzling hot now with a little break to cool down.
Yeah, I think GB needing that heat break, got to regroup. Fatigue, creep, all going their way. They lead Great Britain 12-7.
And we've got some sizzling highlights here from one of the Canadian weapons in Mika Kurahashi. Really seeing that hunger, cutting with real intent, making sure she's working hard for her teammates. As you see here, working the small spaces really well, making sure she turns a defender, really attacks that shoulder and wins the race to the cone. And doing it both sides on offense and defense. Getting big, lovely assist there to Boucher. And Canada working through the really strong female offensive line. A nice assist there. She's got 2 goals and 3 assists for this game. Mika Kurahashi, on fire. As we settle back in the latter stages of this game, Canada really taking up to GB. GB going to have to find a way, Andy.
Yeah, this is tough. They're in a tough position. The gap's obviously widened since the last main break. But it's about maintaining that positivity. We heard it from their coaching staff at halftime. Maintain that positivity. See what they can get out of it. See what adjustments they can make, because it is a long tourney. And there's every chance they'll come up against another quality team, and they might even come up against Canada again if results go their way. So certainly don't want to put a cue in the rack by any stretch.
Absolutely not. And big pull, very vocal sideline from Team Canada, forcing GB to the back. Got 4 handlers back, allowing some space perhaps for the downfield receivers as Canada bring a zone back, working for them very well through this game.
Wouldn't be surprised if we see it transition again. It has already now. So that was only like maybe a 2-3 pass defense, either counting a number of passes or allocating a field position. So maybe when they move it to halfway.
Yep, so GB now getting a little bit more movement, a little bit more continuation with the match, but Canada... Oh, and there's a tip on that one, but GB maintained possession.
Good pacing.
It's a horror play, but the downfield receivers are really far away, which means that they're only really looking for the under options. Success there with Agnew, but I do wonder whether, you know, an adjustment in position might actually be a bit more fruitful to get some of those longer options as we have another worm burner. Just trying to get settled here, GB. Don't know that the downfield cutters are adjusting, or if that's just purposefully trying to work through a handle weave.
No, I think it is just a deep stack, Av.
Few cutters going at once. Really relying on the backfield players here for Agnew. Bert Stack now a bit shorter with a shorter field to work with, and here goes a big shot, but unfortunately the shape of the disc was just to inside out, just fades away out of bounds.
Yeah, as soon as that inside out caught a little bit of wind, Agnew had seen enough. He turned his back on that throw before it even went OB. He knew as soon as he released it, that wasn't the shot.
Yeah, I'll be disappointed with that one. Certainly would want to take that one back again. And timeout perhaps called with the players now coming on field. As we see that the wind just takes that all the way out of bounds. No chance of coming back. So timeout called. Great Britain be looking to try and regroup. Find a way to get their offensive connections. I mean, both teams are actually playing quite a similar style of offense in terms of working it through the handlers, coming from the front of stack. Canada just doing a bit more successfully than GB at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, Canada's a lot more, I wouldn't say telegraphed, but it's you know it's coming. GB just having a real challenge to stop it.
Yeah. They've sent it every time.
Yeah, I do wonder whether just an adjustment, you know, it's not really working for them at the moment, using that handle weave the front of stack. So whether or not you just change up position, perhaps bring the cutters a bit closer, you have those big receivers in Agnew who can actually get high and get those deep shots. No, it's tricky in the wind, but you think they're back to throwers.
No, I agree. I think the stack's a little bit deep.
So as we can see here, GB stats, the first 8 points, no turnovers, all clean holds. Since then, 12 turnovers is really the moral of the story.
Canada send one long. Great shot.
And all the way, 2 shots. Beautiful pass, floating there for the receiver in Ramich. Canada just putting the foot on the accelerator. Staying loud, staying positive, racing away to the end.
Canada feeling it, the energy's there. And I think, yeah, you're right, Abel, that is a really interesting insight from a turnover perspective. You give full credit to Canada because it was their defence that ratcheted it up. But I'm going to talk again about the fatigue maybe creeping into GB. we've seen some turns, but then also it's like 1-pass offense, 2-pass offense. So they're not able to extend the points even to try and get that disc back. It's, you know, Canada really, as you say, racing towards the end now.
Yeah, and Canada with 3 breaks in a row means that, you know, the legs of that O-line on GB are probably feeling it, having to get on several points, and they're not short either, with the zone slowing things down, a lot of passes, a lot of work to get free, maybe playing a big factor in this game.
Yeah, it's at the hottest point of the day, 86 Fahrenheit. So that is tipping in just at 30 Celsius. So probably the most challenging conditions of the day, but the Canadians definitely handling it better than Great Britain.
Plenty of big smiles there from Godu and Kurohashi, cheering on their teammates, getting loud. GB, again, pretty slow to get set up. Kind of sauntering up the field. Thompson, she's got a couple of options. Oh, and there's the travel called. Come back. At Pope. As we resume through Thompson. Dick working hard with an undercut. Oh, almost threw it behind, but manages to save the day. Great Britain, they're just not getting a lot of connection. They're getting the first throw, but the continuation off is just not happening. As we say that, oh, way to get big, but just a ground strip there for 15, Tom Hodgett. And Canada, another break chance. A lovely shot. Polly Mott getting up big. Oh. And we have Lauren Ballantyne, tracked a big one so well earlier. Couldn't quite reel that one in. And a big shot goes up for Thompson as the wind gusts.
Go on.
It's going to float. And a big bid just out of reach.
Injury.
Might have just pulled something on the way down.
Hopefully just cramp. It is.
Yep, getting some assistance. Very well spirited by Collie Mott.
Yeah, Wynn just taking that one and it dies. And if Collie Mott hasn't done enough on the field, she's now helping her opponents work out a cramp, work out with a stretch. So Canada will have another go at it, very similar to the position they had it about 4 throws ago. Don't mind the long shot though, Av.
Yeah, well, they've got to do something different. So I think just trying to force Canada to do or try to adjust.
Canada doing a better job of stacking short. That's probably the other big difference between themselves and the Brits.
Yeah, with Boucher bringing the disc in. A little high, but manages to keep it in. Got a couple of cutters coming towards him. Goes for one across the field, but just behind the intended receiver. And a high backhand. And that's a score. GB, well needed after several breaks by Canada.
Yeah, it's a gritty hold by GB, but it's a hold, so take the positives.
Yeah, 13-8. Game's not over, but certainly GB, I think they're going to have to adjust their strategy just to try and get through the Canada defense. Canada looking really good on both zone and match, both generating multiple opportunities.
That one just behind. A little miscommunication.
Yeah, perhaps the fatigue affecting some of those throws, as well as the wind just starting to gust up a little bit. A little bit unpredictable. Saw a couple of big shots go up, but kind of bounce in the air. So
yeah, initially I thought it was a bold play from Spears to run and gun. Every other player apart from himself was behind the disc. So on paper, you probably structure up a little bit. But if you are going to run and gun, pick it up and then be that deep cut. So nice little bit of initiative. Saw the opportunity to put the point in quickly. Get his O-line off for a break.
Yeah, so this will be the first time we've seen the GB D-line for a little while. See what pressure they can amp up here. As the pool goes up, GB bringing on a junk look. Bit of an arrowhead pattern here. Good idea trying to slow things down.
Yeah, I don't mind it.
But Canada are really showing their class. Rifling through the cup, using their legs, generate plenty of movement. And now looking to jump and swing. Swings not available. Oh, and a lovely, lovely shot. Make sure he toes it in with some style and a celebration. Canada, easy as you like. Just rifling through that GB zone. Gonna have to go back to the drawing board and see how they can get some more pressure on this Canadian offense.
Yeah, when you're 6'4" and mostly arms and legs, towing it in becomes an easier proposition. So he needed to, but genetically suited for it, we'll call it. But really nice from Podnar. He threw, repositioned, back into the wing, saw out wide, had the discipline to stay out wide. I think he put a bit of mayo on it as well, actually. Probably didn't need to, but it looked good. Justin, it looked good.
Why not making most of his opportunities on a national representative team all the way here in sunny Gold Coast, Australia.
Of course, Justin Podnar coming off a pretty successful campaign at the World Ultimate Club Championships in 22. Came second with red flag. Hoping to go one better this time around.
So on the stats board, Podnar 1 goal, 4 assists and 2 blocks. So getting big for Team Canada. He'll certainly be looking to get big for the rest of the competition. Go up with the pull from Canada. Let's see what GB O-line can bring out now that they've had a breather. Oh, and another scuba over the top. One lovely down the line shot. And GB making things look smooth as Canada call for a match. And Agnew here steps it in. Nice and easy. Another one on the stats board. I think that is goal number 5 for Cameron Agnew to go along with his assist. Trying to G up his team. Trying to get things moving. Trying to get some positives out of this game.
Yeah, as you say, Avalia's having a nice day. For GB's 9 goals, he's caught 5 of them, thrown 1 of them.
Yeah, nothing to lose now. Go right at it. Harry! Nicky!
I'll see some of his highlights here. Right from the first point was involved, I think from memory, was the first 3 stats of the game, all Agnew involved. Mainly catching the goals, but has been a presence around the offensive line throughout.
Yeah, we saw in a point later on, coming back to in the handler set, behind the disc, making sure to keep Canada on their toes, but you can see here, just times his cuts to perfection, making sure seals up the defender, getting up high to secure that clap catch.
Started playing Ultimate because his best friend told him to. So, team probably thankful for that best friend giving that advice because he's having a great day today.
So the score is 14-9. with Canada starting this point on offense, looking to steal this game. Peter Yu just getting slow, but gets a big shot up. Tall target, Podner. Just reads that better, gets up high, and that is a win for Team Canada, 15-9.
Pretty stylish way to finish it up. 4 assists, 2 blocks, another goal, and he brings it to a close for Canada. 15-9 the scoreline. GB threw a few different looks, tried their best, but Canada just showing their class. Just see the teams form up. Quite a well-spirited game, Ava, I'd say. I think you saw calls discussed respectfully and retracted from both teams. A couple of picks, but you know, there's no intent or malice in that. So I think really enjoyed the way that both teams played it, went about it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think earlier we said, oh, maybe we could tidy some of those up, and certainly, you know, after the first quarter or so of the game, a lot cleaner by both sides on that front. And Podner just getting up high, reading the disc, making sure he had front position there. Kick spike celebration as well. So we have the stats here. Total turnovers, 14 for Great Britain, which really made it difficult for them to come back. As you can see, break chances, a whopping 11 for Canada, managing to convert 6 of them. So the efficiency there was certainly superior to Great Britain's 1 out of 4. As you can see, clean holds, not the cleanest game, although certainly a little breezy and some, perhaps affecting some of those shots. But ultimately, Canada just coming out supreme, really showing why they're seeded 3rd in this pool.
Yeah, I mean, GB's first break coming basically at the start of the game. So credit to Canada for adjusting and making it certainly cleaner and cleaning up their offensive defence. But GB would want to work out how they can finish that game as strongly as they started it.
Yeah. Yeah, they can definitely, they've shown that they can play. Like, they've come into play, it's just managing to sustain that for the entirety of the game.
Yeah, and the fatigue factor I mentioned earlier in the call. Challenge now for them is to get out of the heat, recover really well. That's their second game for the day that they're done.
And we have Justin Podner, star of this game. How are you feeling after that one?
So it was a good game. Definitely tried hard, and the team really came out strong. We lost one of our best players, obviously Gagan, and had to step in that role. And I thought the team really regrouped after like having that injury and really pushed themselves, and that's why we won this game, just as a team effort.
And Justin, you had a really good game yourself. Both sides of the disc getting 2 blocks, a couple of goals, a few assists. Is that your best game of the tournament so far?
Yeah, definitely. This was something I really wanted to perform at. I got a lot of people watching back home, and it definitely feels good to win this one.
Yeah, absolutely. With GB coming out pretty strong, they actually got the first break. How did you guys manage to turn things around and really get things going on D for Canada?
Yeah, it was definitely a shocker. Like, I definitely expected it to be a little bit easier, try to make bigger blocks and stuff like that, and they just came out and punched us in the face, and we were able to talk it out, regroup, and just play tougher defense. I think the reaction after that was really good after, like I said, getting punched in the face.
Well, speaking of punched in the face, we noticed that you started playing high school and someone said you'd never make it, so you challenged yourself. I think you've certainly done that here, mate. Congratulations.
Thank you.
All the best for the rest of the tournament.
Thank you so much. Great game. Thank you.
Nothing like a little bit of negative reinforcement. Oh, you don't think I can do that? Well, guess what? I'm at Worlds. I've probably been one of the best on, next to probably Kurashahi as well.
Yeah, Kurahashi certainly really championing the female matching players there. I think the future matchups are going to have to think of ways to really minimise the impact. But as we see Canada getting the chockies over GB, they'll be looking to continue on their merry way in this tournament, turning things up in this Gold Coast heat. And wrapping up from the World Ultimate Championships in the Gold Coast, Gabriel Tan and Andy Moroney.